starts right now. Fox News alert, a fiery White House press briefing wrapping up just moments ago. White House Press Secretary Kelly McEnany fiercely defending the president's comments on far-right extremist groups during Tuesday's presidential debate. Let's go live to Chief White House correspondent John Roberts, who was questioning the press secretary moments ago. I watched the whole exchange, John, but just in case our audience didn't catch it, what was the takeaway?
Well, the takeaway remains that the press secretary would not, in a definitive and unambiguous and non-deflecting way, say that the president condemns white supremacism in all its forms and any group that espouses it. And this is not something that I just made up. Mitch McConnell, Senator Lindsey Graham, Senator Tim Scott are all saying that after what happened at the debate on Tuesday, they would like to see the president come out with a definitive statement. But when I asked if Kayleigh McEnany, as a spokesperson for the president, speaking on behalf of the president, would do that, it didn't quite amount to that. Listen here. Can you right now denounce white supremacy and the group about it?
The president has denounced white supremacy, the KKK, and hate groups in all forms. He signed a resolution to that effect. The president just last week, perhaps you all weren't covering it, but just last week expressed his desire to see the KKK prosecuted as domestic terrorists. His record on this is unmistakable.
And again, I mean, you know, in the past, there have been statements by the president, which Kayleigh McEnany was happy to furnish. But in the wake of what happened on Tuesday night, and in the wake of these calls from Capitol Hill for the president to do something, I was simply looking, Melissa, for a declarative statement today, just to clear the air. And that was not forthcoming from the White House. Now, this all started on Tuesday night at the debate in Cleveland, when Chris Wallace put a question to the candidates and to President Trump about racial unrest, asking if the president would denounce white supremacy. And the president said, well, name a group, name a group. And Joe Biden came out and said, Proud Boys. And so the president said, okay, to the Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. Yesterday, when the president was asked about Proud Boys and what he said about them, he said that he didn't know who the Proud Boys were, something that Kayleigh McEnany repeated again today. Listen here.
He didn't know who the Proud Boys were. The first time I heard of them was in the debate, but the media continues to put these names into circulation and give them a lot of public attention.
And Melissa, just one more observation here. If the president didn't know who Proud Boys were and Joe Biden just threw out the name, if he didn't know who they were, why did he denounce them? Why didn't he say, well, I don't know who they are. Can you give me a little bit more information about them and then make a decision about it? So this all remains very puzzling. And for all of you on Twitter who are hammering me for asking that question, I don't care, because it's a question that needs to be asked. And clearly, the president's Republican colleagues a mile away from here are looking for an answer for it, too. So stop deflecting. Stop blaming the media. Tired of it.
All right. John Roberts is tired of it, so we're going to let you go. Thank you, my friend. All right, this is Outnumbered, and I'm Melissa Francis, here today, host of Kennedy on Fox Business Network, Kennedy herself, attorney and Fox News contributor Emily Compagno, Fox News contributor Jessica Tarlov, and joining us today, former Education Secretary under President Reagan and Fox News contributor Bill Bennett. Bill, one thing that strikes me interesting about this whole conversation is that there was so much yelling and talking on top of each other and back and forth during the debate that one thought that I had when it was going on is that we've had moments like that on live television on this show. And when everyone's shouting and you can't hear what everyone else is saying, you can't hear what you're saying, everything gets all jumbled up, and it's very difficult later when people go back and they isolate parts of the conversation and say, you said this word, then this word, then this word, then this word. That's one of the problems with these debates, where we're screaming on top of each other, that no one's calmly saying what they actually mean. Is it make sense to now go back at this point in time, I'm just raising the question, to be parsing very particular words in a debate where no one could hear anything?
Yeah, I mean, it does to some extent. Listen, John Roberts, I've known for years. He's a friend of mine. I'm sorry he's angry, but he's just wrong. Play the tape again. Kayleigh said, we denounce racial white supremacy in all its forms. What more do you want us to say? Whether it's Ku Klux Klan or anything else. When the president was asked on Tuesday night, the first thing he said was, look at the transcript, sure. Now we can say it again and over again. And you're right. The word storm, the interruptions, I was told just before we came on, don't interrupt. We may have passed federal legislation, maybe, Melissa, no more interrupting anywhere by anybody.